What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of 54 Yards, brought to you by Opinionated Media. Today I'm your co-host Cam Theory. We're going to talk about the NFC Championship preview and what it'll look like this weekend. Stay tuned. Jumping into the NFC Championship preview, man, we got to talk about last week's games. We're going to start off with that boy Jalen Hurts. I know you guys have seen some things on Twitter about did this man go to Alabama, or we knew he went to Alabama, but is he claiming Alabama or is he claiming Oklahoma? Because he also went there as well. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But we want to talk about the football game, and they played the Giants. And I really thought, in this NFC East historic rivalry matchup, I really thought the Giants would show up and play really well. Well, unfortunately for Brian Dable and company and Daniel Jones, it really looked like Daniel Jones had reverted back to his original self. And he played spectacular in the week prior against the Minnesota Vikings, And, I really thought they had a chance in this game. Or, a lot of us, I think, forgot about how really good Philadelphia was and how good the Eagles really are. I mean, the Eagles showed up, man. They put it on display. In the trenches, they are a problem in those trenches, man. Top to bottom, man, just offensive line play, defensive line play, just kind of dominated the game. You also had their secondary is very elite. Darius Slay, Gardner Johnson, Bradbury, they got some dogs over there, man. So, they really just looks like the team to beat. Jalen Hurts didn't have to do a whole lot. Everybody's saying, oh, he's really not as good as we think he is. I personally think he's still phenomenal. I mean, he's getting the job done. Simple as that. He plays at a high level, at a high clip, very, very efficient in that RPO offense, and I really like what they're doing over there for him. So, man, shout out to the Eagles, man. Shout out to Jalen. He got that OU DNA. And transition into the topic that was on Twitter, a lot of people are saying that Alabama wants to claim the man because he's playing in the NFC Championship when they benched him. You can't really be mad at the benching. At the time, it made the most logical sense. He, got taken out in the national championship game. Nick Saban felt like they needed a spark, and they went with Tua Tagovailoa. He ended up winning that national championship game for them. They battled it out in spring. Jalen lost. Jalen was the backup. Tua got hurt in the SEC championship. Jalen comes in the SEC championship. They beat Georgia. Tua comes back in the playoff games, and they play in the playoffs. Jalen was also SEC Freshman Player of the Year. Played in the national championship. So his time in Alabama was not just him sitting on the bench, right? You have instances of Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, these other quarterbacks who transferred to their respective programs. Joe Burrow in LSU, Kyler Murray in Oklahoma, and they ended up doing great there, winning national championships, things like that, right? So I feel like if you're those schools, the claim to them, if they didn't lead your team ever in passing yards, I feel like there's really no claim for those schools with those players. But with Jalen, I mean, hey, he did say roll Sooners allegedly. So, he said that over the Sooners. But he did graduate from Alabama, so I'm not too mad at it. But I could definitely see a claim for both schools. I don't think it needs to be this crazy back and forth battle between both fan bases. But we know college football fans are crazy, super passionate, and it's very understanding. Now we're going to go over to the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I used to be a Cowboy hater. I really did. But, I mean, I don't know, man. Something about that team, man. They just got a lot of dogs on the team now. Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, my boy CD, Cedarian Lamb. Tony Pollard is nice with it. It's got a great team. And unfortunately for those guys, man, they were let down by, number 4. And number 4 is Dak Prescott. And, there's been a lot of rumblings if Dak should be the guy for Dallas, right? He got paid all that money. If you guys were following his story a couple years ago, it was a big deal for him trying to get paid, holdouts, things like that. And for me, I don't know, man. I really like him as a person, but I think for, the quarterback in Dallas and what they need, I just think he might not be it. I think he might be a really good, efficient quarterback, but maybe getting over that hump, it's just hard to, kind of be convinced by it. A lot of these quarterbacks now coming out of college are all good. Look at Trevor Lawrence in year 2. Look at Joe Burrow. Shit, look at the Heisman class now, or the college class now. You got C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Caleb in a few years, Quinn Ewers, Spencer Rattler, Will Levis. Like, you're going to always have talented quarterbacks coming out year in and year out. So I feel like if you don't have that elite level guy, you're going to be replaceable. And I think Dak is kind of on that cusp of that. I think he's like a fringe top 15 quarterback, top 10 at times. But he led the NFL in picks, which Josh Allen, if they compare their stats to the last 13 games, we're both very similar. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think Dak is going to be the guy that gets it done for Dallas. And I was talking to some friends earlier, the last quarterback to really win a championship for Dallas was Troy Aikman, and he was actually drafted in the first round. Lately, Dallas hasn't been drafting quarterbacks in the first round. It's been, Dak was drafted in, I think, round 3 or 4, and it's been, a lot of unsigned, undrafted guys, players like that. It hasn't been like a generational talent that was taken in the first round. So I think that might be what's separating them. But in my opinion, I don't think Dallas should blow up the roster. I think a lot of people are panicking, right? But I just think maybe you'll get another playmaker, maybe another spark on offense or defense, someone that could maybe make a play in that game, and you go get after them and get them and, try again next year. But, Dak Prescott, some love him, some hate him. I'm indifferent about him, but I don't think he's going to get it done for Dallas. Moving forward with San Francisco and the 49ers, I think it's frustrating as a former, as a Big 12 fan, seeing Brock Purdy continue to win these games when in college he would just make some bonehead interceptions, throw some bonehead picks. And it's also knowing how the media is like, oh yeah, he's Mr. Irrelevant, things like that. But it's okay. Like, we have to understand, everyone loves a good story, but there's articles coming out saying of Nick Saban saying he was, average as a player, and it's because he was. I mean, he still could even be average. He hasn't played that much football yet. When he maybe plays a full season, a full 18-game slate, then maybe we can kind of judge him a little bit more, judge who he is as a quarterback more. But the 49ers, man, they're just so talented. They got George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey made some phenomenal catches in that game. He ran some amazing routes, very, very polished route runner. And I just think at the end of the day, they were just a better team than Dallas. I think Dallas definitely gifted them a few short fields, which helped the 49ers. But all in all, San Francisco is just a better team than them. And I really think this NFC Championship between the Eagles and 49ers is going to be amazing. I think it's going to be a great matchup, right? He got some good football this weekend. And, I think it's going to be a really physical game, man. Both sides have elite players, a bunch of DNA on this field, man. Trent Williams, Lane Johnson, top offensive linemen at their positions. But I think, since the game's in Philadelphia, I think that crowd's going to be a little reckless. They'll probably run out to Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill. You know how it's going to get down. And, I think the Eagles are just going to be too much for those guys. I just think they're just going to have too much firepower. I think they're more of the complete team. But I think it's going to be a slugfest, and I can't wait to watch it. I got the Eagles in this game, and because I need to see Jalen get, I just need to see that DNA, man. I just need to see him go ahead and get him a ring. But with that being said, this is another episode of 54 Yards. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you once again for 500 subscribers. It means so much to us. We're really trying to, push to get monetized so we can, get more money and start investing more into our quality, our production, and what we do and what we put on, on the screen for you guys. Make sure you guys are checking out everybody else. Park Car Talks is almost at 200 subs, so make sure if you're a fan of us, they're affiliated with us, so make sure you guys go show them love as well and go check out their content. They're doing some great things over there. Well, with that being said, it's your boy Cam. I'll see you guys for the next video. Peace.